my wife left her phone unlocked on the kitchen counter. I wasn't snooping. I just went to plug it in so it wouldn't die. But then the screen lit up, a message from a guy saved as Dave, marketing. It didn't say I miss you or I love you. It was much worse. It said,
Don't worry about him. He doesn't notice anything. Lol.
To her, my 6 years of absolute loyalty was just a punchline. Most guys would wake her up screaming. Most guys would smash the phone against the wall. I didn't do any of that. I set it down, exactly where I found it. Poured myself a glass of water in the dark and made a silent decision that would absolutely devastate her 3 months later. Here is how I disappeared from my own marriage, and why her crawling back was the biggest mistake she ever made. I was 34 years old, married for 6 years. I wasn't a perfect husband. I worked long hours. I was quiet in ways she sometimes mistook for coldness. But I was loyal, the kind of loyal that doesn't announce itself, it just shows up year after year. The marriage had felt different for a while. She was distracted, her phone always face down. Laughter at messages she never explained. Late evenings with excuses that were technically plausible. I noticed, but I told myself the story. Most good people tell themselves. I trust her, she wouldn't. I remember my wedding vows. I will be your shelter and your witness. In every season, I choose you. And then that text.
Don't worry about him. He doesn't notice anything. Lol.
I read it twice, put the phone down, drank my water, and then I did something that would have broken most men. I went to bed next to her, and I slept. Not because I wasn't in pain, but because I already knew. The next move would define me more than the betrayal ever could. Here's what I did not do. I didn't stage a dramatic confrontation at the dinner table. I didn't send threatening messages to the other guy. I didn't call her family. I didn't cry into my phone at 2 a.m. while my friends told me what to do. I'd seen that movie. I knew how it ended. So instead, I got quiet, the kind of quiet that has teeth. I hired a lawyer, discreetly. I documented what I needed. I separated my finances with the careful efficiency of someone who had already grieved and was now simply building. And then I started working on myself with a fury I'd never applied to anything. I woke up at 5 a.m., not out of motivation, but out of purpose. I cooked better food. I slept properly. I cut out everything that had been slowly numbing me, the late-night scrolling, the passive evenings, the slow erosion of ambition that long comfort can sometimes bring. She noticed the change, but she misread it.
You seem distant,
She said one evening. I'm fine, I said, and smiled. She assumed the distance was stress. Work, maybe a phase. She had no idea. It was a farewell. The other guy, by the way, and this is the part that quietly destroys people, wasn't better. Not in any way that matters. He was louder, more reckless. The kind of excitement that burns hot and leaves nothing. What he offered wasn't depth, it was novelty. And novelty, eventually, has an expiration date. I understood this before she did. I wasn't running from pain, I was running toward the version of myself she would never get to keep. The divorce was finalized quietly. No screaming, no public spectacle. My lawyer was efficient. I was gracious, in ways that confused her. Because she had been expecting fire. She didn't know how to process a man who wouldn't perform his pain for her. I started a business I'd been quietly building for 2 years, something she'd always called impractical. Within 4 months of the divorce, it was generating more than my old salary. I didn't post about it. I didn't call her to report the scoreboard. I simply lived it. My social circle tightened. I kept only the people who brought signal, not noise. I traveled somewhere I'd always wanted to go, alone, and came back with the quiet confidence of someone who had learned they were enough company for themselves. I stopped hoping she would regret it. And that's the moment, the exact moment, I truly got free. Because I realized something important. Healing that is performed for an audience is just revenge wearing a mask. Real transformation doesn't need a witness. She texted first. Of course she did. It started vaguely.
Hey, hope you're doing well.
The kind of message designed to open a door without admitting why you're standing outside it. I didn't respond. 3 days later, another one.
Can we talk sometime? Just to catch up?
I didn't respond. A week after that, she called. I let it ring. Then, 2 weeks later, and this is where it gets honest, she sent the real message. No more pleasantries.
Things didn't work out. I've been doing a lot of thinking. I miss what we had. I miss you. I know I don't deserve it, but I was wondering if we could meet, just to talk.
I thought about the message in my kitchen, the night I found out.
He doesn't notice anything. Lol.
I put my jacket on. I drove to meet her. She talked first. She had clearly rehearsed something about growth and mistakes and how she'd changed and how she'd undervalued what we built. I listened to all of it, without interrupting, without nodding excessively, just listened. When she was done, there was a pause. She looked at me, waiting for the door to open, and then I spoke. I appreciate you saying all of that, I said. And I want you to know, I don't hate you. I'm not angry anymore. I genuinely hope you figure out what you're looking for. She exhaled slightly, relieved. Maybe thinking that was an opening. It wasn't. But I think you've made a mistake, I continued. Not with me, but about what you think is happening here. You're not coming back to what you left. That's gone. And honestly, you didn't leave because you stopped loving me. You left because you stopped respecting yourself. I was just the nearest exit. She opened her mouth. I held up one hand, gently. I spent 6 years being someone you could depend on. And in the end, what I got was a text that called me a joke. I don't say that to hurt you. I say it because I needed to hear myself. Say it out loud. I leaned forward. The version of me that would have taken you back died in that kitchen the night I put the phone down. I've been someone new ever since, and he doesn't have room for this chapter. Take care of yourself. I walked out. No drama, no parting shot, no backward glance. She sat alone at the table with the quiet weight of a door that had just been closed from the inside. Here is what most people don't understand. The most powerful response to being disrespected is not a confrontation. It's no longer being the person who would have accepted it. Because revenge that you perform is still a performance. And that means she's still directing the show. But transformation that you live, that's yours. Entirely. The real flex isn't the gym. It isn't the business or the apartment or the way you look when they see you again. The real flex is the moment you pick up that phone, read those words, put it down, and choose yourself. Quietly, deliberately, without asking anyone for permission. So, let me ask you, and I want you to answer in the comments right now, because this splits people every single time. If you found out your partner had called you a joke behind your back, would you walk away in silence, or would you need the confrontation first? There's no wrong answer, but I want the honest one. Drop it below. And if this story hit somewhere real for you, share it with someone who needs to hear it.